we're working with some, and we kind of rolled it out, but we're going to take it to another level, meaning, and I'll go over that later. But this is for anybody, again, that's a broker. All right, we have more people coming. I guess we'll give people a few more moments. So, basically, B-Town, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Hanan.
Oh, nice. I see B-Town Distro.
Yeah.
We have Muhammad. Probably. All right, we'll have more people join. So, to recap, we're building out a whole new platform. And I'll repeat this again. Basically, this platform is it's basically we'll do everything for you, right? Well, I see a need in this industry where the problem in this industry is you can basically obtain clients, and what do you do then, right? You have a client, you're going to kick off the loan, and what are you going to do? You're going to process it yourself, maybe a one processor. The problem is that it's hard to scale when you're, and it gets expensive when you're going to do it all yourself. And we're building out a platform, and we're going to test pilot with just a select few people, more high volume people, whereas we will. We have more people coming. All right. Hi, Brooke, Mohammed. All right. So thanks again. We're this is all for brokers, realtors, Gators, connectors, and referral partners. And I'm going to be talking about basically, our broker program, and then the white label program that we're test piloting. And basically, I would say the best thing you could do is let's start out as a broker with us. It's very similar to what we're doing. We could get very creative, meaning we'll still do a lot of the work for you. But the only difference is like, when we take it a different notch, where we will create your landing page, we will allow you to, for example, let's say you have a domain name, you have bdistro.com, right? We will use your domain and act as and our resources, meaning we have let's say a loan processor, will email from your domain name, so it looks like it came from you. And that's something that we're going to test pilot, and we're going to roll that out in the next few months. But at the end of the day, that is something that we're going to have to invest, and it takes time to set up. And as we're growing it, we're going to keep on building and adding new stuff. And going back, who brokers loans right now in this event? B, have you broker loans at all? Or no? Okay. So the biggest thing in this business is, okay, you get a client, right? And what happens is, once you get that client, and let's say you give them terms, now you're ready to kick it off. What do you do now? Right. And there's a lot of moving parts. You got to collect docs, you got to review docs, review entity docs. And it takes a lot of work. You may be when I got started over 10 years ago, I did it myself, but it wasn't scalable. The problem is it's not scalable doing it all yourself. So, and even if you want to hire people, it gets expensive. It's not, you have overhead. It's not, this is not a cheap business to get into. So I'm trying to solve the problem from my growing pains look, there's a lot of lenders out there. I get it, but I'm trying to do something different where we will do everything for you pretty much, from talking to the borrower, which I could do that for you. You could say that I'm your partner, whatever you want to say. And we could talk about that later. I don't even do it for brokers now. I do it a lot of times for brokers, but we would do everything from that to everything will have your brand on it. The only thing that we're not doing right now is closing loans on someone else's name, which we're going to look to do, but it's a little tricky right now. So we do everything under generic LLC. But I'm only just talking right now, then I'll repeat myself again. But I think, all right, I think we got enough people right now. So thanks again for joining, Anthony, Muhammad, Brooke, and you said Hannah? Did I hear that right? Okay. Thank you for joining. So basically, how to win more deals and boost your earnings. And look, when I started, it was over 10 years ago, it was a much different market, meaning that rates were a lot higher, and the customer service just really wasn't there. You back in 2012, you didn't have to provide the best customer service because there wasn't as much, quite frankly, there wasn't that many lenders out there. So borrowers really didn't, they didn't really have a choice or many choices. So it's like, you take it or leave it. This is what it is, 14%, 4 points. Obviously you give a level of service, but you're not, you don't have to go the extra mile because they need the money and they want to grow. And but now it's different. Now there's a lot of money available, a lot of institutional capital flood the market, which basically made it interest rate. Basically became an interest rate competitive market, meaning that everybody wants the best rates and the highest leverage. Problem is that if that's what you're chasing, you're not going to win. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. You may be able to win business by having the best rates in town, but you only get so far, right? And I've done that at my old company. We shook the market locally in Jersey. We started dropping rate, and then shortly after, other lenders started following suit. They started dropping their rates. And so where I'm getting at is you have to do something different. And what you need to do different is you need to excel in customer service. And not just customer service, but also what are you doing to add value? I had a broker come to me. I did everything for him. Talked to his borrower, everything. And then we closed that loan. And then what ended up happening was the borrower came back. Somehow he circumvented that broker, came to us. And obviously, like, I did the right thing. I went back to the broker, like, look, what do you want to do? And I was like, I'm loyal to you. But basically, to say it politely, he didn't know what his value proposition was. I mean, he didn't know, like, he just passed him off to me. I did all the work, but he didn't. I was like, look, you need to add value. What are you doing differently? He's like, oh, well, he's new to the market, so I supplied him his contractors. Like, great. That's it. You gave him something of value. You didn't just help him with a loan, but you gave him resources, right? So if you could provide people resources such as, maybe they don't know a general contractor, maybe they don't know a plumber, electrician, whatever it is, that is something that you could add. So not only are you delivering amazing customer service and high leverage and rates, but you're giving something of value, and these are some things that will help stand apart to really win more deals and boost your earnings. Because if you're adding more resources, you could charge more. People are willing to pay more money if you're giving more value. And I just know from experience, obviously not going to charge people like a crazy amount of money, but they're willing to pay more. Why? What? Let's say you're fast to respond. Like, people want to talk to someone. We win business from other big national lenders. We're a small shop, right? And we want to keep it like more personal. Problem is with these big companies, it's hard to get someone on the phone. It may take a while to get someone on the phone, and people get frustrated, and then they come to us. They're like, "Wow, I'm actually talking to the owner." I'm like, yeah, and we have a great conversation, and then of course we're offering great customer service. We're giving them great rates, great leverage, and speed of closing, and all that. So that's just food for thought. Definitely become an expert. And I'll help you as you go. But Mars, you go to the next slide, please. Ooh, what happened? I'm sorry. I pressed a button. Oh, here we go. So this is a little bit about my background. I started, probably over 10 years ago. I'm losing track of times, but I can't believe it's 2025. I have a bachelor's degree from Wilkes, wrestled in college, have a master's in property management. I've been a victim of real estate scams, investing, limited partnerships, even lending money. learned a lot from those problems, even bad partnerships. Look, I formed partnerships with some people, and you feel like you trust someone and they disappoint you, and it sucks, but you gotta learn from it. And basically, after all of my setbacks, I started from scratch, basically. Uh, Levine Capital, I shifted away from investing in limited partnerships. I shifted away from having partners in the lending business from my other side, another company I had. I'm on my own, and I'm just hiring people, and we went into direct lending. Um, but a lot of this stuff that I've from my pain, I've developed a passion of how I can help people. And and also I mean, I hired someone recently that was working for another lender that was charging people commitment fees and never closing loans, promising them the world, like 100% financing or whatnot. And they, in my opinion, they had no intention to close. They didn't know that. They thought they were doing their job. But I'm like, yeah, if you're collecting, a point or two up front on a loan that never closed, and you're promising them something, it seems like a scam, in my opinion. And I want to bigger pockets. And I saw a lot of people complaining about this one company. So these are things that I like to use to build our business and also help other people. Um, so another thing is I've learned a lot from different groups, such as being part of like Pace Morby's Sub 2 and the Gator lending or Gator method community. And I learned about I was doing creative finance years ago, but I didn't even realize it was. What's the example of creative finance? You have one loan and then gap funding. Gap funding could basically cover interest payments for 6 months. Now they call them Gator loans or whatnot. I was like that. Or how about covering earnest money deposit for someone at the sheriff's sale, or covering someone's earnest money deposit, or um, we give them a loan to secure a contract on the build up, whatever. They're a sub. Basically, they call these Gator loans now, but it basically it opened up my eyes that this is actually a real strategy. And what's interesting is um these second position loans. I mean, I was relatively cheap back when I started. I mean, we were doing maybe I think the last one I did was a second lien 2 years ago. Um, she needed 50,000, and I gave it to them as a second lien at 12% interest and 12-month loan. And then this lady goes back to me. I'm like, look, now it's probably about a 15 to 25% flat fee and 6 months. And that's that was kind of like a shock. But what's happening is that thanks to someone like Pace Morby, he basically people are starting to they're starting to accept this new environment that we're in with all these Gator lenders. And now it's like, okay, I know they accepted it, and they kind of know this is what it is, and it is what it is, right? So when you give them something like that, they already know it, and it's starting to, so which helps. And for us lenders actually is amazing, because now you can make more yield on your money, which is really, really nice. But obviously there's risk, there's some moving parts, but we could go on to that more. You go to the next slide, please. So I kind of went over this. Why do I want to help? And I'll go over a little deeper. Is that from my experience, as I was mentioning before, it's very, very difficult. There is a barrier to entry in this business. Yes, you could broker loans, but the problem is there is a cost, meaning you have to hire people. To do it yourself is very, very difficult. And everything's fast paced. And when we're talking about processing loans, I mean, that's a full-time job. So especially when you want to scale. I mean, you're doing one loan. I mean, you're not really you're not really having, it's not a real business unless you start doing volume, because in this business you got to keep the pipeline full. You got to keep on bringing in new loans, because not every loan is going to close, and there's many factors why they don't close. Is because maybe uh one example is appraisal. It doesn't appraise where it needs to be, the numbers don't work, and that's it. Deal's dead. There's nothing you could do, right? There's ways to mitigate against that, but it's kind of hard. How do you mitigate? You're not going to close the loan, but you could look at try to figure out what you think the value is before you order an appraisal. And we try to do that by, look, I think that what you think this value is not there. Can you show like 3 comps in that market, like from a realtor, to really avoid them paying money to order an appraisal, for that appraisal to come back and the numbers don't work? So these are actually things you could do when I'm saying adding value, right? Talk over the deal with them. But to go back, so I stay on topic, I want to help other people, because look, there's a lot of lenders out there, but a lot of lenders, quite frankly, when you're brokering to them, don't give you a lot of resources. I mean, obviously, like, yeah, we could help you shadow underwrite the loan, but what are you doing after that? I mean, you guys still collect the documents. You still need to know what you're doing. And so what I'm looking to do is, and we've been doing it for a lot of our brokers, is we've been doing everything for them. Literally, I mean, if the broker wants to collect the documents, that's fine. But I'm like, look, if you want to streamline this, we could collect it for you. We'll help you. We'll send out I'll go over that later on. But that's one of the reasons why I want to help. And I see that it's a win-win, because it helps us grow, but also it's I don't see anything out there like that where people are, or a lender is actually giving you the resources, literally helping you close those loans, not telling you, hey, you got to go get, I need this, I need this, I need that, and then you got to go get it. We will do it for you, and that's something that we're slowly rolling out. It's hard to roll out to everyone, quite frankly, is because same reason why I want to help, the same reason that I'm explaining. You need more manpower, so I'm hiring more people to help me scale this. But and going back to look, it's I like to help you. I'm a go-giver, and I really do. And I just like to help people. I get a fulfillment from that. But there's also it's a challenging, there's a learning curve to this business, and a lot of times I deal with a lot of people that they don't know simple things, and they may have a big network, but they don't know what to do. So I want to be that resource. And it really, like I said, it's fulfilling when I see someone grow from it. Someone wants to get into real estate. I'm like, look, I'll help you. And look, you don't need money to start this, but you need money to scale it. But the way I'm presenting it, you really don't need any money. And that's because I'm like literally giving you all the resources. So we go next slide, please. So yeah, while you're here, right? So discover new ways you could fund real estate deals. What's a new way? An example is, let's say we have a wholesaler that is short on cash. Let's say an urgent money deposit. We could fund that. I mean, maybe you guys could fund it too. I mean, it's really not a lot of money we're talking about. We're talking about, it could be like $3,000, could be $5,000. We could fund that, right? I mean, it's a little bit, there's more moving parts to it. But I figured out how to mitigate the risk, and how not to waste time. Another thing is, let's say you have a borrower that, he's like, look, I have maybe you have a borrower that has an amazing deal, right? But they're not the best borrower, right? I can help you put this together. Like, I'm always problem solving every day, and I understand how to get creative. What is getting creative? Let's say you got a deal in Philadelphia. Most lenders will not lend to a beginner in Philadelphia, but you got a slam dunk deal. It's amazing. You have a lot of equity in there. But problem is you have a beginner that, has the deal under contract, but he's just getting rejected. I can help you put this together. And the way I would do it is I would bring in possibly, most likely, another partner that invests in Philly that actually has experience in that market that we lend to, right? So I would make that person the main borrower, bring this person as a co-borrower, and we'll get it done. And so that's one level. A lot of times we can. Another thing I can help you with is let's say you have a borrower that needs gap funding. It's a very common thing. We do everything in-house, meaning that we fund the first position loan and we provide a gap funding. We may provide a gap funding with our own monies, or we have a plethora of investors that want to be the second position loan. We could do all that for you. Meaning you don't need to go to one lender to go find a gap funding, right? So that's getting more creative. And right now, what's interesting, I have a broker that came to me on a portfolio loan. We didn't close it yet. There's another setback that it's five. Well, there's more than 5 properties, but we're doing one tranche of 5 properties, and it's called a mortgage method. And basically, the seller's offering seller financing, and I'm offering a solution for this broker client of ours, for his client, a way to have, well, the seller's taking a 50% carry on there, being seller financing. And we're going to make a DSCR loan where it's 20% of the purchase, meaning the borrower's going to have to put up 5% of his own money and closing costs. So I help structure this where literally the borrower's putting up only 5% plus closing costs of his own money. And this came to me from a broker that didn't know what to do. Like, he had no idea. And the only reason why we're delayed another 3 weeks is because title, we found some judgments from the city slapped the seller with some fines. It happens. And so now we got like another 2 or 3 weeks, something like that, until they could cure those, whatever they got to do to remove them, and then we could close. So that was another, but it happens. There was a lot of things that were going on. Another thing we helped with, he provided us a preferred appraisers. We added them to our panel, but there was a lot of things that go on, and there's a lot of things that happen in a loan or a deal, let's say, that you got to problem solve. Nothing ever goes perfectly smooth. And I could be that resource to help figure out solutions. Let's say the numbers are tight. Like, let's say you have someone that they have a great deal, but another solution was I had a borrower came to me, not through a broker, but he had a private money lender that was going to be his gap funder, bailed out him. Literally at the day of closing, just bailed. So basically what I did was pretty cool. We did it last, it's been probably about 9 months now, but we helped bring in a gap funder. But there was more parts to it. We had to talk to the seller and ease his concern of, like, basically the seller's ready to walk away. And we had to talk to the seller to get him comfortable of, like, look, we could close. And we figured out how to get it done. We got it closed. I think it was like a week later, something like that. But we had to bring a gap funder in, and there was some more moving parts to it, but we got it done. I can give you more examples, but this is something that can add more value. Um, I mean, connect with other professionals. Look, at the end of the day, it's always good to work as a community and learn. Uh, I connect a lot of people, and let's say, for example, like go back to that Philly deal with a beginner. Like I'm pairing people up, right? They don't know each other, but now they're doing their first deal. And that's really great. And to be able to add resources like that. And that's going to help you because you have someone and you got to be able to problem solve. And this is what I'm talking about, adding value. Um, I I for example, like in New Jersey, I have people come to me and it could be a wholesaler or even a flipper, and I know an appraiser. I'm like, hey, look, call this appraiser. He'll tell you what he thinks the market rate rents are. Um, the guy thought basically this wasn't there. The guy thought that a basement is considered livable space, so he's going to do the basement. I'm like, no, you could have someone may live there, but they're not going to count that as livable space. And I saved this guy. Um, Basically, he was ready to go on the contract, and I helped him from. I helped prevent making a bad decision because his numbers were way off, and then he spoke to the appraisers and yeah, you're right. Um, but these are little nuances you'll learn as you gain more experience. Benefits. Look, we're very, very we try to leave really good economics for the borrower and also for you as the broker. Generally we charge 1 point and a 1525 to $2,500 processing fee. The reason why the processing fee varies is because, quite frankly, if you bring a $50,000 loan and we're only charging 1 point and a 1525 processing fee, we're not really, we're not really making anything to keep the lights on. So we may just bump it up to a $2,500 processing fee. Keep in mind, we're doing all the work for you. We're giving you a dedicated loan processor. We'll even go as far as giving you uh, a um, a file invite where it will look like it came from you. And then your borrower will upload all the documents and we'll literally we can help you collect the documents. It's not a problem. And expert guidance, I could help talk to these borrowers for you, or at least speak to you to tell you this is what you need to say to them. And a lot of times it can be challenging because you just don't know. Fortunately, I learned. When I first started, I didn't know anything, but I learned from just doing, and then whatever problem happened, I was like, wow, what do I do? And then I'm like, okay, let me figure out a solution. And that's how you learn. And then when it happens again, you're like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Second liens allowed. So we allow seconds on every loan, but the thing is, there's different nuances, and I'll tell you how to do it the proper way. A lot of times going back, a lot of these investors are borrowing money from friends, family, and they're coming in as um a second lien position. So we allow, but we'll show you how to do it the proper way. White glove service, going back to customer service. You really need to deliver excellent customer service, because you can give the best rates, you can give the best leverage, but if you don't give that customer service, they're going to go somewhere else. Because they may see two term sheets that are pretty identical, pretty much, and they're like, who are they going to go with? The person they like, the person they feel like is going to pick up their phone, the person that's going to, give them the attention that they want, and also be able to explain things to them so they understand it. And that's something that I can help you with. I can help if you need your borrowers to talk. I'll talk to them. You could say I'm your partner in this, whatever. Like I'm there to help you. I'll close that loan, and whatever it is, we'll figure it out. And like I said, there's always something that happens. And it's just the nature of the business. Someone tells you that they closed on a deal that there was never a problem. I never heard anybody say that. Chat support. So we we're still working on it, but um we've been putting our VIP brokers into a Google Chat because we use a lot of Google Chat right now, or G Suite, and we WhatsApp could be another one, but quite frankly, the Google Chat is just so much more convenient, meaning that you can send an email to us, but it could take, I mean, quite frankly, it could be delayed. But the Google Chat is just a lot faster. Where hey, I have a question on this, loan, blah blah blah, and then someone will answer. If you want to jump on a meet, we could talk it over. Um, we can even we're still fine tuning it, but we use HubSpot as our a loan origination system. We're building it out, we're customizing it, but we can give you a your own login so you could track your loans and see what's going on and everything. It's still evolving. It's not perfect yet, meaning we're constantly improving, always improving. We have Mars, who's our tech guy. He's always improving things. And if you have any type of idea of how we can improve it, we're all ears because we always want to know your feedback and always want to know how can we improve the service for you and your clients. Because at the end of the day, you want your client to be happy. Because if they're happy, they're going to keep on coming back and they're going to refer people to you. That's bottom line. A lot of our business comes from referrals. The file invite is something that we use. It's basically a secure document management portal. And you basically have a checklist there or folders. It could be, empty documents. You just drop them in there. It's very, very simple. And it basically it literally like sends reminder emails. Hey, we're missing this. We're missing this. This is the due date. And so it makes your life a lot more easier. You have clients like, I don't want to send my personal information via email. And because there's security risk. Well, this is secured, and it just makes everything a lot smoother. Right now it works, and going back, we're always evolving to better systems, better processes, maybe technology. So we're always improving. So right now that works, but we may switch it later on to something better. But I haven't found anything better yet. Working with us, you learn about different types of loans, how to boost your profits. For example, this seller finance deal, this mortgage method, the broker is charging, I forget, he's charging more than market because he is adding value to his client that, quite frankly, his client would never know what to do on this deal or a seller finance deal where he got 5% of his own money out of pocket plus closing costs. We have brokers that bring deals for gap funding. They could charge more because they're adding that service that we're doing everything all in one. So that's one way you can boost profits. And I could also disguise your fees with our fees, meaning that you could just make it look like that. Let's say let's say it's 2 points or 3 points all in one, versus say, oh yeah, it's 1 point to the lender and then 2 points to the broker. We could disguise your fees with our fees, or we could do like a hybrid. I may show you little tricks of the trade where you can, instead of charging points, you could charge fees instead. A lot of borrowers they're really paying attention to the points, but they're not looking at the fees. And so these are things that you learn. You're not charging the guy. Look, you don't want to charge too much because at the end of the day, like if you keep on charging more than market, these people are like, "Wow, I got ripped off. They're not going to come back to you." But you can still, let's say the market's 2 points. What I've done is I'll just, especially like a DSCR loan, I may just say no points, and then you just charge more, like underwriting processing fee, whatever, and it still comes out to 2 points, but they're not looking at the 2 points. They're looking at the fees here. So you think they're getting a better, it just looks more attractive to the eye, but you're not charging them too much. Like you're not over market. And Yeah, you're working with a creative lender. Like I know how to put deals together and save deals. Um, I understand gap funding. Look, gap funding is not something that everybody should be getting because there's risk. And so you don't look, you don't want to you can't fund all those deals, but there's ways to put them together. Going back, maybe you have an amazing deal, but the borrower's not the best borrower. So I could help you figure out a way to put it together by bringing a better main borrower in there, a better guarantor, and then possibly bring in the gap funder, because that gap funder is not going to want to fund this guy with no experience, or his credit score is not that good, whatnot. But he'll be more comfortable with someone that has experience and a better credit score. And there's so many other things that I give you examples. I could go on and on about that, but go back to Earth Play deposit loans. You know, that is something else that we've been doing. And that's pretty creative. Yeah, I mean, so like I said, that seller finance deal is pretty cool, actually. And I could go over more scenarios. Gap funding, like I said, is something that a lot of borrowers like. So some of the announcements that we're working on, the white label. I touched on it before, where I'm looking for some people that we could try it with. I have a few people that we started doing it, but I haven't taken it to the next level of basically creating their own page under their own domain and taking control of their domain and using their domain to collect everything so it looks like it's them. I haven't done that yet, but we've done everything else. But that's something that I'm looking into. And we're gonna have different packages. I'm still trying to figure out the pricing of it, because quite frankly, there is a cost. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to allocate that cost. And meaning there's a cost to for example, file invite's not free. So there's a cost to that, and especially to put your branding for everybody. So I have to figure out if file invite's the best solution, or I can use something else. And then how am I gonna do I take on all the costs, or do I have a shared cost? But I have to, so this is something I'm working on. And keep in mind, like building out your landing page, giving you support. What's IT support? Well, quite frankly, automations, right? We have a lot of automations. An application comes in, and then you'll get an automated email to verify all information. And we're constantly building out automations, and we could help expand that to you. We're not doing it yet, but that's something we're rolling out. And essential access patches, pro launch target elite. This is something that it's still in the works, and I haven't rolled it out yet. I'm still trying to figure out the pricing and the different benefits. But one of the main benefits, like I was discussing, was dedicated processor for you, doing everything under your own brand. The only thing that's not under your brand is closing loans under your entity, which we use generic entities, but we're literally like emailing from your domain name. So and dedicated IT support. I mean, that's it's not cheap to create a landing page. I mean, you could probably it depends what you want, but I spent a lot of money, and in the past, I mean, I still spend money, but my cost is a lot cheaper now than what it was. And case study right here is that mortgage method I touched on, the seller finance deal, where we're providing a DSCR loan on a portfolio of 5 properties, and the buyer has like 5% in closing costs. Well, he will have 5% and closing costs of his own money out of pocket. When we close, it's delayed 3 weeks because of like I touched on before, the seller has a judgment or something from the city, something they remove, trash he didn't remove or something. It was really weird. So we found that and now we have to clear it up, and then I believe it's 2 or 3 weeks we should be good to go. But who knows? There's this file's been a weird file. There's always something that's coming up. And then the seller has more properties he's looking to sell, but we're trying to get this one done. And then he's got more. He owns like some crazy amount, and he's looking to unload them all. And this came from a broker that came to me and said, "Hey, I have a seller, a buyer, a borrower that he has a seller finance, turnkey properties. Seller's taking a 50% carry, and he's like, can you help me?" I'm like, so then I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then we figured out a solution, and I can't wait to close it, but hasn't closed yet. There was a lot of things that were that we had to fix. We offer so another big thing is we offer soft credit pulls. And what's interesting about that loan scenario was it happens a lot where the borrower's credit score, we needed him to be at a if I remember right, a 720, I think it was, on the purchase. I was 720 credit score. He was shy of a 720, but we um we basically just kept on doing soft credit pulls. A soft credit pull does not impact your credit score. So we kicked it off, or through the whole process, and then finally we got the credit score we needed, and that was good. The credit score was good for 3 months. We do that a lot for people. We could do a soft credit pull, and we could just he was he wasn't too far off from the 720, and all you got to do is just pay down some debt, and then it actually back up to 720, and that was good. It's good for 3 months. The Well, yeah, we have a YouTube video of Chris Macca. That was the gap funding deal. Actually, you can find it on the YouTube channel where he had a deal in Richmond, Virginia, that is private lender backed out. I don't know the reason that maybe didn't have the money, but we saved it. We brought a gap funder in. We eased the seller's concerns because the seller's ready to walk away. We had to talk to the seller and help him become comfortable of sticking with the borrower, knowing we could close this loan. And that's what we did. And that was our value to have, basically put everything together, which is pretty cool. And we have a YouTube video that you could have. Oh, he just sent it to you, the YouTube video. So that was pretty cool. Next slide, please, Mars. So, I mean, look, these are all investor loans. I would say, look, most of our deals are 1 to 4 families. Can we do multifamily 5+ mixed use? Yes, but most of them don't pencil out, and it's a tough market. A lot of lenders backed out of those loans. So if you want to really thrive in this business and you want to just not waste time, stick to 1 to 4s. I mean, we could do the other ones, but they're not statistically, they're not our biggest percentage of loans that we close. And quite frankly, they're just tougher to close. There's so many moving parts, especially mixed use is challenging. There's so many moving parts to that. We do multifamily 5 to 9 units, and all of this is on our website. But again, they're more challenging. And I would say if you want to really, depends how experienced you are. If you really want to excel, I would keep it simple, stick to 1 to 4. And that's what we really focus on that. But we'll take people that want to bring it. I mean, I have a broker that came to me with a multifamily, but this one actually, I mean, well, we have a really good borrower, a lot of experience. There's a great credit score, and the property looks like a good location. So we haven't closed yet. It just came to me last week, but it depends. You may have a property in a borrower that's not so good in a location somewhere that is not very exciting or whatever. Like there's, in my opinion, I like the 1 to 4s. They close. They're more predictable for us, and it's just easier to close. So that's what I like to focus on. And in my opinion, that's what I would focus on. It's just so much easier. But you can see, Boris, if you want to share our loan programs from our website, you can see everything we do. But yeah, everything's there that we have, and we're always giving you our guidelines and everything to try to help you underwrite a loan. You go to the next slide, please. Boris, you good? Thank you. Oh, here's our programs. Okay, so we have fix and flip, fix to rent. The fix and flip, fix to rent is quite frankly the same loan. The only difference is that you can speak to a borrower like, oh, you say we have a fix and flip loan, but like, no, I want to keep it as a rental. Okay, so we're going to give you a loan that's going to cover your purchase and 100% of your rehab monies. So if you look at this, it says we go up to 100% loan to cost. We go up to most of the time, because what we'll do is we'll blend institutional or private capital. So we can, in theory, go up to 92.5% on the fix and flip loan. But those are more experienced borrowers, more institutional, like 10 plus similar rehabs, and there's some more other nuances that we look for. But I would say the easier ones for us are giving them the 90-100, meaning we're giving them 90% on the purchase. We're giving 100% construction up to 70% or 75% of the after repair value. A lot of lenders will tell you, yeah, we can give you, 92.5 and up to 75% of the after repair loan to value. And quite frankly, there's a lot of fine print that, it could be the borrower. Maybe I'll give you an example. For us, if we see a property with an assignment fee from a wholesaler, like, sorry, we could max you only at 70% of the after repair value because we don't like assignment fees, and we'll cap our leverage to 70% rather than 75. So, there's other nuances too that we have in our guidelines, but this is something you'll learn more as you go. My recommendation too is I give you a little tidbit. I would try out ChatGPT and teach it how we underwrite and feed it information so then it learns, and then you could actually use that as a tool to price out your loans. So when you feed it information, it learns, and then you could it has a memory bank, and then literally when you get an application in, it can fill in the blanks. Like, for example, let's say you don't know what the estimated rent is. It can give you an idea. Let's say you know what the property taxes is. It could give you an idea what the estimated property tax, estimated insurance, or whatnot. And then it can even tell you what, based upon our guidelines that we give you, it would tell you what we could do, which is pretty cool too. And it can help you write up emails and whatnot. I use it all the time. I'm playing around with it. It's pretty robust. But I just got the pro version, which is their newest version. It's cool. I'm playing around with it. It's not cheap, but it's like 200 a month, but it's cool. But I'm trying to see more what it could do and really help me faster with our underwriting decisions. So that's some tool that I will look into. And you can see all this on our website. Going back, fix and flip, fix to rent is the same thing. The only difference is fix and flip is you're buying, renovating, and selling, or fix to rent is you're buying, renovating, and you're refinancing into a long-term loan. Could be a DSCR, right? Which is on the bottom. Basically, that's a long-term loan where it's meant for rental properties. Loans for fix and flip start at $50,000. We go up to $3.5 million. These are interest-only loans, meaning that you're only paying interest on the money you use, which is a non-Dutch loan. There are times where they will be Dutch, where if the loan's like $50,000, then it will be a Dutch loan, meaning you're paying interest on everything you use. Quite frankly, I don't see a lot of $50,000 loans. They're usually more than that. But we can go as low as $50,000. Typically the loans are 12 months, but we do offer an option to go 18 months. What's really cool is the 24-hour draw reimbursement. Basically we utilize virtual inspections where the old method was you have an inspector, a third-party inspector has to go out, see the property, and then they'll drop their inspection report, and then the borrower may get their money. If in a perfect world, maybe 3 days. A lot of times it's 5 days, and then it could take even more than that because the inspector missed something, and then it's like the borrower's like, "Wait a second, I did this," and then the inspector's gonna go back out. This alleviates that headache, and all they do is the borrower submits a draw request. They get a link on their phone. They download the app. They take pictures. We get it, and they get their money. A lot of times it's the same business working day, but we say 24 hours, which borrowers love that because if they don't get reimbursed their money, they can't keep the project moving, and then they're stuck. Like they gotta wait to get reimbursed to keep it moving. Understanding creative finance, I forgot to mention, is a lot of times borrowers need money to get the project started. For a draw, we can finagle numbers and do that as well. To get to like basically we could give them money to start their project. I didn't touch on that, but that's another common scenario. Or there's scenarios where a borrower may ran out of money and they need it, but that's whatever it is, I could take a look at it. We do portfolio loans. I wouldn't recommend it on a fix and flip, but we could do it. Reason why is because there's release provisions, which could make it challenging to refinance. That's another topic, but I don't recommend portfolio loans on a loan that you're going to buy, renovate, and refinance or sell. It could be challenging. We could finance beginners. We can even finance people that really their credit scores are not the best. We could do it, but it's not the best terms. It's not the bucket of capital I like to use because, quite frankly, it's just expensive. And I would encourage investors to try to find a partner or resources for them to boost up their credit. The good thing is we do soft credit pulls to avoid surprises, and that's a really nice feature. Foreign nationals are okay. Their maximum LTV is 65%. We funded a DSCR loan for a Canadian. Yeah, that's pretty cool. We did that a few months ago. Close in 10 days or less. Look, it takes, I always tell people 2 to 3 weeks. We have options where it really depends. So like there's different nuances. How we have a solution where you could pay an expedite fee where the appraisal comes back in 2 to 3 days. It speeds up underwriting, processing, and due diligence on our end, so we could close in 10 days or less. I mean, I've closed someone in 7 days or a week. We got an application provided to the existing borrower that's already underwritten with us in a location that we do a lot of deals in with an appraiser that I already use a lot in New Jersey. So we got the application, the new loan request on Friday. We closed it the following Friday because the appraiser came back in a few days and we weren't underwriting the borrower, we're underwriting the property. But another thing on our website that we could offer you for your clients is a soft credit pre-approval, meaning what speeds up the process is if they're already pre-underwritten with us, meaning that we already ran their credit score, soft credit pull, and we already have their track record on file. Once that we have that, it's so much faster to underwrite them because now we're just underwriting properties, not underwriting them because that takes a little bit of time. The reason being is because a lot of times these borrowers may be slow just to get us information, or they're just very sloppy, or maybe they just don't know what qualifies as experience. A really good example is I had a realtor tell me she's been doing the business for over, I don't know, 2 decades, and she's been involved in so many transactions. And then so I'm like, "What's your experience?" "Oh, I've done, whatever." Like I'm like, "No. What's your experience of actually, taking title to a property?" "No." So a lot of times these borrowers will tell you something, and then you give them a term sheet, and all of a sudden it's like, where's your track record? They don't have it. And then, so you really need to get that information from them and really explain to them, I could help you with that. And one of the ways that we do it is, quite frankly, give them an opportunity to get pre-approved with us or pre-approved with you. So, I mean, that's another feature we have too, is the proof of funds. I mean, we're not charging for it, but what happens is we give an instant proof of funds. And basically we had it automated where someone could just request a proof of funds and then they would get it automatically without us approving it. But then people take advantage of that. I got some weird phone calls from people like realtors, like, what's this? And I'm like, oh, I gotta change this. So basically this instant proof of funds allows you to, once they're marked in our system that they're already pre-approved, they'll get it right away. And I could do that with your brand. That's what I'm working on, and it's a really cool feature. So they're gonna need it if they're gonna go looking for properties. And DSCR loans, I mean, we have the DSCR loans. We can go as low as a 640 credit score. The market is generally at, I would say, 660. We can go to a 640. Keep in mind, I would not recommend it. The terms and leverage, they're not good. And that's when we can leverage the soft credit pull to see where they are. And I would give like more guidance, like, hey, look, I would try to figure out ways to boost your credit score rather than going with the 640 where the rate and leverage is not going to be ideal. And I mean, look, at the end of the day, a lot of scenarios are like flippers looking to refinance because they're doing they're buying, they're renovating a property, they're putting the rehab monies on their credit cards, and now they're on their personal credit cards, and then their credit score is impacted. And then I was like, look, you most likely have high credit card utilization. You really should, in my opinion, try to pay down some credit cards, and we can keep on doing soft credit pulls until your credit score gets to where it needs to be to refinance at a higher LTV and a better rate. But as a last resort, we could go to 640. Not ideal, but we could do it. The only thing is when we go to 640, it is a hard credit pull because it's a bucket of capital that is just like the last resort. We can close in 10 days or less in a perfect world for DSCR loans. These are 30-year fixed. Do you guys understand this stuff? Because I don't. I mean, we only have 2 people on here, and I don't want to go over basic stuff and bore you guys if you already know this stuff. You guys know this stuff, or these are 30-year loans. They're 30-year fixed. They're advertised over 30 years. No tax returns required for fix and flip, fix to rent, and DSCR rental. So anyway, you can see all this on our website. It's getting late. I just got the flag from my wife. You can go to the next slide, please. We offer ground up 1 to 4 families. A lot of this is on our website. A lot of it's the same thing. 50,000 starting minimum loan amount. No credit pulls. We can accept beginners. Not the best terms, but we could do it. A lot of this is on our website. I actually like ground up a lot. More challenging because we really prefer not beginners, people with experience, but we could do beginners. Rental portfolios. I just touched on the mortgage method, seller finance deal. That is a portfolio loan. What that means, you have 1 loan with multiple properties. It really depends on the scenario why you would take it. In my opinion, it's someone that has they're looking to hold it for a long time and they're not looking to refinance themselves. If you're looking to buy, renovate, hold for 5 years and eventually sell it, it could be a problem due to release provisions, and that's a whole other topic. But a lot of it's the same thing. Generally, we have Yeah, no hard credit pulls, generally with these type of loans. And we offer that same stuff. We can keep on doing the soft credit pull when we need to get the credit. If like go back to that example, if they have a credit score that's a 700, they need to be at 720, not too far off, and maybe they got paid out some credit card debt, and we know that it's realistic that they can get it done. We'll say, okay, let's kick it off, and we'll get this we'll get this thing moving, and then we can keep on doing those short pulls until we get you where you need to be, and we do that all the time for clients. Um, it happens a lot, so it's just something that it's just the nature of this business. A lot of investors put their um they put a lot of stuff on their credit card, and that's another topic, business credit, that I highly advise, and you can offer that service to your clients as well. Next slide, please. Stabilized bridge, same. It's just this is just a loan for people that are a borrower that has a property that is rent ready, meaning I had one example came from a broker today. The borrower has a new construction property. It's stabilized. It's finished. Well, it's rent ready, meaning that it's already built. Has a CO, meaning someone that he could bring in tenants. His problem was he has a construction loan where the lender needs to be paid back. So he has no signed lease, which makes it challenging to do a refinance or a loan to pay back the lender and a loan to give him some of his money back. So the solution is a stabilized bridge loan, which we could close in 10 days or less. And it will buy him some time to, he's going to pay back his lender, the construction lender, which is a bank. And then he can buy him some time to put in tenants in there or sell. But he is on the clock. He needs to pay back that lender. And that's really why this is a solution. It's a faster closing. The property's not rented, but it underwrites well. The borrower has a 660 minimum credit score. We have a 1.2 DSCR, meaning we have a 20% profit over our break-even rent. So we know that the rental income is enough profit in there that you don't have a signed lease, but we could still give you a loan to close on the property or to refinance the property. In this scenario I gave you when the broker, it's a refinance because he needs to pay back the lender and he doesn't have a tenant in there. Gator lending is, I touched on this. This is all the creative stuff, the gap funding, transactional funding, microloans, double closing, urged money deposit, the mortgage method. This is a lot of creative stuff. But we're running out of time. We're gonna have another webinar to talk about this. Next one, please. So real quick, this is something new that we have. The soft credit pre-approval. This right now is not white label. We could do it eventually. It's not hard to do. But what's really cool about this is that once we pre-approve them, then once they submit for approval funds, they get it right away. There's no waiting. What happens is a lot of these borrowers, they need to get approval funds ASAP, or the world's coming to an end, and they're going to lose the deal because they're competing against other buyers. So speed is everything. So what could be challenging is if someone's not underwritten with us, they may submit approval funds, and it could take some time for us to get to it. In a perfect world, we'll see it right away, but there could be a time when an hour or two went by until we got to it, and then the borrower's calling, hey, and I'm like, oh shoot, okay, let's look at it, and what this does is it alleviates that problem. They're already underwritten with us, and it's already flagged in our system. They're pre-approved, so once they submit for approval funds, they get it automated right to them. Literally, they get it. Mars, how fast they get it? I think it's in less than a minute they'll get it. It's all automated. Another benefit is the promotions. We have a lot of promotions such as like free appraisals, the borrower has to pay for the appraisal, but we'll rebate it when we close. Some other ones where we're rolling out, you get a free year of prop stream. There's so many. There's stuff that we're rolling out. Off market deals. We work with a lot of wholesalers that have off market deals, and we're developing partnerships because one of the hardest things in this business is to find deals. If you can find the deal, you could land yourself alone pretty much. Because the borrower most likely, well, you can control it and say, look, we're looking for a borrower that's taking a loan. But point is that this alleviates the problem where you're gonna help the borrower find a property. But really the cool thing is it's approve of funds and then they'll get promotions and stuff. You go next slide, please. This is the same thing, approval of funds request. This is basically going back to the instant approval funds. Now they want approval funds, and they're putting their information in there, and then if they're flagged in their system that they are pre-approved, they'll get it right away. So there's no waiting for us to manually approve the deliver the approval funds. So that's basically it. And this is all on our main page on levinecapital.com. So you'll see everything there. Next slide, please. This is a sample term sheet. What we're doing is we'll have your logo there. So it'll be white label to you, your logo, and it looks like it came from you. It's really that simple. And your name. So this will all be branded to you. This is like a sample of what our term sheet looks like. Next slide, please. Anybody have questions? I know it's late. We got started late. And where's everybody at? B-Town. Where are you located? West Coast?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. Okay, so you're saying I'm in Florida. So, do you have any questions?
Well, like I'm just looking to your website, Levine Capital, right here.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So basically, like everything you say is here. Like I could read it, and like I would like to thank you so much for your time, for the effort that you just like. That's awesome. You given
Thank
like
you.
very valuable information, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. How'd you find out about us?
Meetup.
Oh, yeah, the meetup. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we have an event too. So, um, we had an event yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday in Newark. Where in New
Uh-huh.
Jersey are you based out of?
Northern New Jersey.
Okay, yeah. So we had a meetup yesterday in Newark. So we have it every month. So I recommend going there because you'll meet a lot of people there, a lot of different you meet borrowers there too. So you'll meet borrowers, wholesalers, realtors. Carrie's a realtor there. She's awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, Carrie's she's Brazilian realtor. She actually a lot of her clients are she knows a lot of contractors. She's a really great resource to know because she helped one of our borrowers sell one of his properties. Well, it was one that we actually two of them actually. Well, the one closed and then he had trouble selling it with his one realtor. She came in and helped close it, and then the second one, same thing happened, and she helped. Well, it didn't close yet, but she got like a bit over ask, but she offered a lot of guidance because like she went there and like helped them like different decisions, like what to do. When he was renovating, like you should do this, you should do that. She even helped, I think, call the city to help set up the trash removal. Like she goes above and beyond than what a lot of realtors do. And he was so happy on his first listing with her that he gave her the second one. After I think 6 months with the realtor, he just gave up on that realtor and gave it to her, Carrie. So, but she's a great resource. She knows talk about resources. Like if you have borrowers in Jersey, like she knows a lot of different um trades, like a lot of contractors. And those are great resources for these borrowers. A lot of them they don't, especially beginners, they may, even experienced people, they may not have a great plumber or electrician or,
Mm-hmm.
she's a great resource. So she's a great person to pair up with someone that, for example, they're looking at a property and, you know, they need someone to help manage it. Meaning she'll help deal with the contractors, help whatever it is, and how she makes her money is on the listing. But she adds a lot of value, not just someone that takes a listing and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you meet her at the meetup. She's great. Um, yeah, and there's a lot of people that come and I'll be there probably. I gotta check. I was there in December, but we'll be there again. Um, yeah, but anyway, any other questions, or we have Mohammed too here, or okay. So anyway, thank you so much. You'll get a recording. Do me a favor. If you have questions, feel free just to email questions back. If you want, you can go to the website and but let's say you have a borrower that uh I didn't mention this, but like if you have a borrower and you want to pre-screen something through us, just go to Quick Quote and um I can even go a step further, but we generally have every borrower sign a confidentiality agreement, and then Mars could send you he'll send you that confidentiality agreement. Then he could send you our loan application with your brand on it. So right now, if you go to Quick Quote, you're going to basically put your information in there as the broker, and then you're going to put the borrower in there, but you're going to be emailed, not the borrower, unless you want us to be in communication with the borrower, right? What Mars will send you is basically the same form. The only difference is it'll have your brand on it, and you don't have to put your information in there because it's already registered you as the broker. So now you can give it to your borrower and it will have your brand, and then they just put their information in, and then you'll be emailed, not them. So he could set that up. It's pretty simple, but and yeah, so if you just wanna pre-screen something by us, like just if the borrower, I mean, I don't know if you have any clients now, but if you have someone, um, you can just try it out and you'll see. And then but if you want, you can hop on a call with me. I'll book a meeting on there and I can kind of run through it more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just go to book a meeting and then you'll see my name and just click on it and you'll see my calendar. It's really that simple. To get a hold of me. So, all right.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam. I'm gonna check out right now. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take
All
care.
right.
Bye bye.
Have a good evening. All right. Bye, Mohammed. Mars, thank you so much, Mars. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Thank you. I'm going to log it off. Thank you, Mars. Thank you, Mohammed. Bye.